Welcome to some and welcome back to a few. I ramble review, it's what I do, and today I am here with HiddenSee by Gregory Maguire, a tale of the once and future Nutcracker, which it is not. Okay, so I want to start off by saying I absolutely adore this book. It was half a cover buy, half a purchase for book club with my little local used bookstore. I it's gorgeous, you know? I will say when you take the dust jacket off, it does, the hardback at least has a very horrifying nutcracker. There, that's more centered. Horrifying nutcracker. But honestly, I just think that makes the cover more awesome. I can't say that the book completely lives up to its cover. There are things about it that are really, really cool. So I guess I should start off with why it is not a tale of the once and future Nutcracker. This is actually the story of Godfather Drosselmeyer, who will eventually make and then gift the Nutcracker to Clara from the tale of the tale of the Nutcracker and the Mouse King. I don't know who created the subtitle for this book. It was incredibly misleading and really threw me off at the beginning of the story because I was trying to figure out when the Nutcracker was coming in. Especially because at the beginning, Godfather Drosselmeyer does not have the name Drosselmeyer. In fact, at the beginning of this story, we are introduced to a young boy by the name of Dirk, and we get to see him come from a very unconventional childhood into his young adulthood, where he will then be gifted the name Drosselmeyer before being set out onto the world. There's nothing wrong with this tale. In fact, it is a fascinating one in which we have a main character who has been neglected, who some would say has been abused, who has experienced a near-death incident, who is blind in one eye, who reads not only as disabled but also as neurodivergent, and some fans would argue as bisexual. This is a story that I can really get behind, and I even love some of the prose within the book. I am actually going to read a couple of lines from the beginnings of chapter 22. I'm going to hold my hand up while I read it because it does reference a story event. I don't personally find it to be a major spoiler, but if you want no spoilers at all, fast forward until my hand comes down again, okay? Here we go. The summer had begun with a bear vandalizing a chapel associated with an obscure Protestant confession. It reached its apotheosis in a thunderstorm that rattled the windows in their casements and raged over the roof beams of the schloss. The prose is wonderful throughout and has several very atmospheric descriptions like that. The characters are very intriguing and keep me wanting to read more about them, especially one character named Felix, who is introduced very early on in the story. But I can't, in good conscience, recommend this book to people. It is very, very meandering. Where it excels in prose and it soars in strange and interesting character interactions, it leaves me wondering where the plot is most of the time. I can tell you that the plot is the life of Drosselmeyer, but that has no direction or apparent call to action or point outside of existing. I could tell you the plot is centered around his search for meaning and the understanding of childhood or the loss of childhood. But that's also not quite right. I could also say that it's simply a very non-structured story in which the central plot is the life of Drosselmeyer, but it is his meandering way that creates the story, and that might be as close to accurate as I could get. There isn't a huge ending point that this story is building up to. If anything, it seems to be saying, we're here and that's that. You know, there's these mystical elements to the story that tie in, but even the main character seems to dismiss them out of hand. And the few other characters that acknowledge them don't really pursue the idea that something mystical is going on in the background. And further, when we reach the end, we are met with a scene that may be little more than another's fever dream as the curtains close on the play. I really don't know how to feel about HiddenSee. I have told friends I probably would have titled it something different, as HiddenSee does not play a huge role in the story. It is where the vacation home of one of the characters is. Near the end, one of the characters does have a dream involving sending off an item to HiddenSee. But other than it having this symbolism, perhaps, of being the place that a lot of the characters did not get to visit or did not reach for whatever reason, it doesn't really have any strong tie-in to the majority of the story. Okay. So overall, 3.5 stars out of 5. I will probably reread the book next winter. I'm actually quite looking forward to whenever I reread the book, even if it's not next winter. And hopefully other people got something a little more out of the ending. If you did, regardless of how far in the future it is when you see this video, please let me know about it in the comments, because I'm probably still just as confused as when I filmed this. I hope everyone is having a lovely day or evening or morning whenever you watch this, and that life is being kind to you. I am off to read something a little simpler now. Bye, guys.